everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com, back again with some more lovely wrestling news. Plenty of news to talk about in this video, including the identity of the mystery SmackDown hacker. It's finally been revealed, so if I can just contain my excitement for a second, let's get onto those headlines. Yes, first of all, as I mentioned, the identity of the mysterious SmackDown hacker has finally been revealed. Also, a WWE Superstar has revealed a scrapped feud with The Undertaker. And finally, Dark Side of the Ring has been renewed for a third season. So first of all, yes, it was the season premiere of Raw last night, and there was a bit of a controversial match result, which not a lot of people were very happy about. But it did then lead later on in the night, sort of, to the reveal of who that mysterious SmackDown hacker was. So the match in question, the one with the contentious result, was a tag match between members of Retribution and the Hurt Business, and the reason that everybody was quite annoyed about it was because Retribution lost quite decisively, via submission in fact. And people were very unhappy about this because obviously Retribution has been built up for months as this anarchic force coming in to lay waste to WWE and, you know, get one over on the establishment and do what they want and rip up the status quo. And now they've lost in pretty straightforward fashion so soon after being drafted to Monday Night Raw. This was their first proper match, I think, since Ali was revealed as the mysterious higher power leader of Retribution. And yeah, they just got dealt with by the Hurt Business. And then if that wasn't bad enough, the Fiend came out and laid waste to all of the members of Retribution on his own. So great. But that did not stop Retribution from cutting a menacing promo backstage later on in the night, where Mustafa Ali revealed that indeed it was him who was the mysterious SmackDown hacker. And there was a bit of retconning, I feel. There was a bit of tying in between, you know, the hacker and Retribution. I don't personally believe that there was an overarching plan to have the two storylines coincide or tie in with each other, but that's what they've gone with, and it sort of made sense in a way. Because Ali was talking about the fact he was addressing the criticism that he needs the numbers game, the members of his stable, to do anything of note in WWE, and he was saying, no, that's not the case at all, because I used to only need a laptop or a mobile phone or anything like that to cause havoc and to change things in WWE back when I was, you know, when I was the SmackDown hacker lads. He also made a point of, you know, the truth being a theme, saying that when he was the hacker he revealed the truth. He, you know, which I guess implies the whole, you know, Otis and Mandy and Ziggler storyline that was going on, which the hacker helped the babyface to win, but now he's a heel, but he just wants the truth to come out, and I guess Retribution is his new way of finding his own version of the truth. I think that's what they were kind of going for. On the positive side, despite it being quite a badly booked episode of Raw if you're a Retribution fan, I guess the positive is that, you know, this is a loose end that has been tied up, one that everybody feared would just fizzle out and never be revealed because WWE had decided it wasn't important anymore and had just moved on. That can often be incredibly frustrating to fans because it shows that maybe WWE, or it seems to imply that WWE care less about the product, their own product, than we as fans do. So I am glad they've tied this up, even if it is a little bit messy. It does still sort of make sense. Because, you know, I mean, remember the Raw Anonymous GM thing, which dragged on for ages and then went nowhere, and then it was ages after the storyline had ended that it was finally revealed that it was Hornswoggle. And then I think after that as well, I think after Hornswoggle was revealed as the Anonymous Raw GM, it was then just a mysterious laptop figure again. I don't know, maybe it was Mustafa Ali. I don't know whether that was, you know, whether they forgot that Hornswoggle was revealed. Someone please clarify that for me in the comments below, because I can't quite remember what went on. But yes, Mustafa Ali was, as rumours indicated at the time, he was the SmackDown hacker. I remember there was one tweet which managed to decipher the voice disguise effect that he was using in his promos and found that Mustafa Ali's voice was there. But then I think that Chad Gable's or Shorty G's voice was also in there, and that led to rumours of this leading to a group which may have been Retribution, but then that kind of got severed. Shorty G's nowhere near Retribution, and then Retribution showed up for real a while after that. So at least it's the person we all thought it was and the person we all thought it should have been, but now he's a heel despite doing quite babyface things back then. I don't know. It's a strange one. Mustafa Ali, was the SmackDown hacker. Next up, it's always very interesting, isn't it, when an Undertaker feud is talked about, because the Undertaker appears so seldom these days that any mention of a feud involving the Undertaker is going to lead to a lot of speculation and hype. But we kind of overlook the fact sometimes that maybe these planned feuds don't always go ahead. And Elias recently was talking to Sports Illustrated about a planned feud between himself and Taker, which was then just kind of scrapped, and we'll get into the reasons for that in just a second. But he also touched on the fact that apparently another thing that got scrapped involving himself, Elias, was the idea of a kind of a 3-year WrestleMania feud with John Cena. Not a feud that lasted for 3 years, obviously, but a feud that would crop up again every time WrestleMania season came around. So obviously he got involved at WrestleMania 34 when John Cena had been calling out The Undertaker for ages and nobody knew if Taker was actually going to show up, and then Elias came out as kind of an anticlimactic swerve where it was like everyone's waiting for The Undertaker. Oh no, it's Elias here to face Cena. But then it was quickly revealed that actually Undertaker was Cena's real opponent, and Taker beat Cena convincingly in just a few minutes. Then of course the following year Cena got his own back because Elias came out to perform his WrestleMania 35 concert and was interrupted by John Cena, who, you know, beat him up. But it wasn't John Cena as we know him today. It was actually Doctor of Thugonomics John Cena, wasn't it? And apparently those two standalone kind of incidents at WrestleMania were about to carry on this year, but then plans changed. Because Elias told Sports Illustrated the year after was supposed to be myself against John Cena at WrestleMania in a 3-year running story, basically implying they were finally going to have their match against each other, but he said things obviously changed and that didn't end up happening. In fact, if you remember rightly, Elias found himself as a babyface in that feud with Baron Corbin, and he actually won the match at the closed doors WrestleMania. But now back to how this ties in with The Undertaker, because of course Elias was involved with The Undertaker sort of at that first WrestleMania clash with Cena, because he was there, then Taker came out and revealed himself to actually be Cena's opponent. So he puts New Orleans, I'm in the mix with John and The Undertaker. The next year I'm in there with John and The Undertaker again, John at WrestleMania, and then Undertaker the next night on Raw. Remember, that happened actually straight after WrestleMania 35. He then goes on to say, I was supposed to go on and face The Undertaker at the show in Saudi Arabia, but that never ended up happening because of Goldberg, but that was supposed to be my match. But as Elias has mentioned there, obviously Goldberg instead got involved and faced The Undertaker and lost to him in that really terrifying match where a lot of people were questioning whether both men could still go in the ring. You know, both really risked injury in that match. It was quite a scary one. And, you know, you can imagine that Elias probably felt quite hard done by. He didn't mention that in the Sports Illustrated interview. He very much kept emotion out of it. But I do feel quite bad for him, because imagine you're in this big thing with The Undertaker. Yes, it's one of the shows in Saudi Arabia, which aren't totally canon. I guess they are, but they don't always play out on the main roster. It may have been an excuse to get Undertaker on the card. He is an opponent you can face. But at the same time, it's still a big money match with The Undertaker, and it still would surely count as a career highlight for Elias had it gone ahead. And speaking of Elias, last night on Raw, a new match was added to the Hell in a Cell card on Sunday, and it's going to be Elias versus Jeff Hardy. That's been officially announced for Sunday's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. During last night's episode of Raw Talk is when the match was confirmed. This was set up by Elias doing another concert on last night's Raw. He was interrupted by Jeff Hardy, who attacked him, but also said that he didn't try and run him down all that while ago when they ran that storyline. So a bit weird, because Jeff's furiously saying I didn't do it while also trying to attack Elias. Anyway, that is apparently leading to a match at Hell in a Cell. Now let's take a look at the rest of the Hell in a Cell card. So far confirmed for the pay-per-view, we have 4 matches. 1, Elias versus Jeff Hardy, of course, which I've just been talking about, but also 3 big title matches as well. All of them, I think, inside of the Hell in a Cell structure. So we have Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton in a Hell in a Cell match, of course, for Drew's WWE Championship. Yet another title match for Randy Orton. They even got in the cell a little bit last night on Raw to hype up the event. We've also got Bayley taking on Sasha Banks for Bayley's SmackDown Women's Championship, again inside the Hell in a Cell structure. And that feud, I think, really does actually deserve the Hell in a Cell stipulation, because it's a very bitter and a very personal one. I don't know whether it'll be the last meeting though between the two, because remember, they've not actually clashed that much really since Sasha was betrayed by Bayley a little while ago. So maybe this is just going to be the first step, which would be odd, wouldn't it? Hell in a Cell being the first step. but we'll see where it goes. And finally, of course, the big Universal title match between the champion Roman Reigns, who's now a heel and aligned with Paul Heyman, and probably the best thing in WWE right now, taking on Jey Uso once again, but this time, of course, inside Hell in a Cell, but it's a Hell in a Cell I Quit match. Very interesting stuff there. I mean, Roman's going to win, but it'll be interesting to see how he goes about it, won't it? And also, I'm quite pleased for Jey Uso getting another big pay-per-view match, getting another chance to prove himself after really impressing, in my mind at least, alongside Roman Reigns in this big main feud on SmackDown. And finally, Dark Side of the Ring has been renewed for a third season. Morgan Hertzen, the Executive Vice President and General Manager of Vice Television, has said the following about the upcoming third season of the show. Hertzen says, Dark Side of the Ring is a knockout show for Vice TV. The tag team executive producers Evan Husney and Jason Eisner are true heavyweight champions of the world of TV, and we are so excited to pin down a third season of this incredible series. He continues, seasons 1 and 2 of Dark Side of the Ring are examples of the compelling, thought-provoking and engaging storytelling we champion here at Vice TV. We can't wait to see what the series will throw down in the third round. Now, we don't know the full list of what the episodes are going to cover in season 3 yet. Obviously, seasons 1 and 2 covered a lot of big controversial topics in wrestling history, such as, of course, the Chris Benoit, the whole Chris Benoit thing, Owen Hart's tragic death as well, various different things as well. Some of them a little bit smaller in scale, but still very entertaining. Also, the Montreal Screwjob was covered as well. Lots of very interesting stuff. I'd highly recommend Vice's Dark Side of the Ring seasons 1 and 2. But now season 3 is coming up, and we have some clue, according to PW Insider at least, what some of the episodes are going to entail. So PW Insider have noted that apparently an episode is reportedly set to cover Grizzly Smith, the father of Jay the Snake Roberts. Also, David Arquette has talked about there being an episode on Nick Gage, this infamous kind of modern day independent wrestling figure, and Eric Bischoff has said there'll be episodes on Brian Pillman and the cross-promotional show between WCW and New Japan Pro Wrestling in Korea. So there we have it, lots of interesting stuff to look forward to on Vice's Dark Side of the Ring. Also, lots of big matches to look forward to at Hell in a Cell, and also we can all rest easy at night now, knowing for certain that the SmackDown hacker was Mustafa Ali. Thanks very much for watching. Leave your thoughts and opinions on any of these stories in the comments section down below. Stay safe out there, keep yourselves positive, and I'll see you very soon.